plain old Grinch. Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's Grinch. Got a fun video for you today. We're doing a Pirates of the Caribbean tier list. Now, this is my tier list. This is my opinion, of course. If you've got your own opinions, leave it in the comments. I'd love to know what your S tier sets are, what your D tier sets are, and what are they missing? You know, what would you like to see become a Pirates of the Caribbean set? So the way this works is we've got poly bags, we have the Brickheads, and then of course we have the main sets that all came out for Pirates of the Caribbean, and we're gonna tier them. We have 5 tiers. We have S tier, which is just epic, amazing, one of a kind. We have A tier, which is awesome, right above average, great. B tier is kind of our average, right? We're gonna have a lot of B tiers on here. Then we have C tier, which is below average, and then D is just meh, forgettable. We can do better. So to start, let's get right into it. We have our first set is a poly bag. It is the mini black pearl poly bag. And this set was actually a promotional set with a newspaper. And to be honest here, it's definitely not S. I'm gonna have to go D. There's nothing unique about it. It was difficult to get. It's still difficult to get. Just essentially for the packaging. There's no special parts. It's kind of forgettable. And for something that's that hard to get, you want something special. So next up we have the Jack Sparrow's boat poly bag. It came with this tiny little boat build and then a Jack Sparrow minifigure. Also a newspaper promotion in the UK, and then it was available at some stores in the Netherlands if you spend a certain amount of money. So again, another really difficult poly bag to get. And when you think of difficult, you think of exclusive and you think of awesome. But then you get this minifigure that we got before and this kind of, cute little weird boat build. So I'm gonna go below average. At least you get a minifigure in this poly bag, whereas the Black Pearl was just pieces that you could recreate at home. This you get a minifigure. If you were looking for it, you probably already had the minifigure, but again, minifigures collectability is better over time than just pieces. So for me, slightly above that Black Pearl poly bag, but still nothing great. All right, so next up we have the Captain Jack Sparrow poly bag. And actually, this is one of my favorite minifigures of the series for Jack Sparrow. There was a lot of Jack Sparrows, but for me, this one was really cool because it was so unique, right? You don't often see a voodoo doll minifigure, nor do you really expect it, right? We got the micro figure and the Queen Anne's ship, which was awesome, and so this was just cool. Really collectible minifigure in my opinion, different. Also hard to get. This you had to pre-order the game, the Lego Pirates of the Caribbean game, or I think you could buy it at Best Buy, but difficult to get, but you could get it if you wanted it, and also really cool minifigure. So for me, I'm gonna go right there at average. We don't really see a lot of these poly bags anymore with just a minifigure in them like this, so this really hits home for me. Love minifigures, love the exclusivity, and love the uniqueness of minifigure that doesn't really fit into any of the sets, right? So this is the perfect way to get that. So last up here for our minifigures, we have Captain Jack Sparrow, just polybag. I believe this is a unique minifigure that was given out with a free Donald Duck comic, which is super random, so definitely difficult to get. And it was a nice print. You got a blue vested Captain Jack Sparrow, but really nothing special, just kind of a different color for his shirt, which was fine. And a couple different pieces there, but overall, as far as the character goes, you were easily able to get Jack Sparrow. So since this one really didn't bring anything special to the table and was difficult to get, not like the Voodoo doll, which is a totally different rendition of him. This just had a different article of clothing, really. So for me, I'm gonna have to give this one a C. When I've got that exclusivity minifigure, I'm looking for something more like the Voodoo doll, something that's different. And this is just something that we had already saw. All right. So next up, we have the first of our Brickheads. We have the Captain Jack Sparrow Brickhead, of course, and the infamous bacon piece there. there for his waist belt. But yeah, I like the Brickheads. I know a lot of people are kind of here or there on them. They could live without them. I personally am a huge fan. I do have to say though, they kind of don't fit in with the collection just because they are Brickheads. Personally, when I display my Brickheads, I have them in a completely different area of my display. They don't actually live with the sets themselves, so they are kind of on their own, and I'm just going to judge them based off of Brickheads as a whole. So for that reason, I am going to give Jack Sparrow a B. He's a solid Brickhead, nothing fancy about his build, but he gets the job done. You do get that kind of cool bacon print. All jokes aside on that, that is a unique, interesting print that you love to see, but there's really nothing special about Jack Sparrow, you know? Um, Unlike the second guy, Armando Salazar, um, and there is something special about him, and I think it's that he's pretty much unanimously known as the worst Brickhead, and I'm going to give him a D. I'm going to follow suit here, um, simply because why him? We only get two Pirates of the Caribbean Brickheads, and we have Captain Armando Salazar. Now I know why it was him, right? They came out with the new movie. They wanted it to tie into the new movie, and he was the big bad. But in reality, looking back at it, right, as a collector, you wish you had somebody else. Barbosa, Will Turner, Elizabeth Swann, uh, Davy Jones would have been awesome as a Brickhead, and instead we're kind of left with the scary villain. Actually, I think he was played quite well, but really forgettable because overall the movie was just meh, in my opinion. All right, so getting into the first of our sets, our first set is Isla de Muerta, um, which is a pretty, average set. We got four really cool minifigures. One of my personal favorites is the Hector Barbosa skeleton minifigure. Got some cool metallic gold pieces. Overall, though, the set left something to be desired. It just wasn't much in terms of the set. You really didn't have a substantial build. You could kind of recreate the scene, but not super well. It was more of just a backdrop to display the minifigures, and that's exactly how I use it, so I'm going to call it average. The Cannibal Escape. And this was a cool set. There's three unique minifigures actually. The Captain Jack Sparrow was awesome. I think he's probably the best part of this one because he's got his six eye um, minifigure printed head. The set itself is okay. It's kind of a cool display piece. I think it captures the scene well enough. Had some playability. You had your cannibals. You could chase down Captain Jack Sparrow and Will Turner with them. But nothing super amazing about this set, right? So it gets the job done. It does it well, to say the least. So I'm just gonna go with an average here for the Cannibal Escape. All right, and moving on, we have the mill, and I think this might be our first A. I definitely not an S. I'm looking at the sets that are already down here in B, and I'm thinking the mill's got to be a little bit higher, and one of the reasons is definitely that Hadras minifigure. It's just so cool. I love the color. The shell hat is really awesome. Pretty good minifigure selection. Between this and the Cannibal Escape, I'd much rather have this set. It's from the same movie, right? And I think it just kind of recreates the scene a little bit better in terms of, you can take the wheel off and you can spin down the hill with the wheel. You've got all the minifigures there covered, and oh, you can't forget the really cool heart piece. I think it's the only time Lego's ever done an anatomically correct heart that was printed on a 1 by 1 cylinder brick. And that's just really cool. I love that piece. I actually had that piece separated from the set just so you could see it because it's so awesome. So for me, this is, I think, our first A on our list. Moving on, we have the big bad here. We have the Black Pearl, and you know probably no, I'm just kidding. Definitely an S. My goodness, this is such an awesome ship. A great build. If you like pirate ships, you bought this ship. If you liked Pirates of the Caribbean, you bought the ship. So there's more reason to get this set than just being a Pirates of the Caribbean fan. Nowadays, if you try to go find this set, your wallet will remember it too. Because I mean, good luck finding this set for below like $800 in box. Last time I checked, it was around 9. So just a really awesome set, and it's reflected in the aftermarket. This is the Pirates of the Caribbean flagship pun absolutely intended set for the theme. You know, you've got the ship that's mentioned in every single movie. Not to mention the minifigure selection was just epic with the Davy Jones minifigure, that Hadris minifigure, and then you had a couple of other named characters thrown in that needed to be there because it was a set. But those two minifigures just really um, take home the set. Right? They're just awesome. And next up, we have the Captain's Crew set. I kind of have mixed feelings on this. There's some really good prints. You get a cool ship in the bottle print. You have a cool globe that I think we've seen in some other sets, and a compass print. Um, but for Cap Court Cabin, you're kind of looking for something a little bit more than just a shelf with a bottle. I think I'm going to give it a C, to be honest. It's kind of meh. Um, I think a much cooler version of the set could have been the organ from the second movie with Davy Jones, playing the organ. And, you could have had a captain's cabin based off the Flying Dutchman, would have been really cool. You probably would have had to add to the piece count. I believe this set was only like $12, but it sure looks like it. It sure feels like it. And then from the minifigures, you didn't these weren't difficult minifigures to get in the first place. So it's not like you could say, "Oh, it was a minifigure pack," because you already had a lot of these minifigures. They're very common minifigures at that. So for me, it's just kind of meh. Could have lived without it, to be honest. All right, so next up we have a set that's kind of difficult to tier here. We have the Fountain of Youth. In terms of the build, it's definitely not A, but I think you could make a case for the two minifigures that come with it. The Barbossa is just a great version of him, and then Blackbeard is of course awesome. That headpiece and that beard are really cool. That sword that he comes with is quite valuable in the secondhand market now. We aren't tiering off of how valuable the items are though, and for that reason I think I have to give this a B. The build itself just kind of left something to be desired. You have a green slopes to represent some foliage, but there's no actual foliage on this set. There's two little vines, and the movie there's they're in the rainforest essentially, and by the fountain. There's just so much foliage around them. It doesn't really capture it here, in my opinion. There was something that was definitely missing, and I'm not quite sure what it is. But so for me, it's just kind of blah. Technically, this set has four minifigures. Um, I'm not going to count the skeleton as a fourth minifigure. I know why it is, but in terms of comparing this to the other sets, that's kind of just a throw in. It's like a battle droid, right? That doesn't make or break the difference of anything. So if that was a unique Captain Jack Sparrow, would have been totally different, in my opinion. That would have been better, but just because it is so simple, so small, it's just kind of meh. That we have here is the London Escape, and for me, I'm kind of teetering here between an A and a B. I think I'm gonna have to go with an A, simply because this set stands well on its own outside of Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, if you get rid of Captain Jack Sparrow, you have a nice historical piece here. You get some cool horses. Price to part ratio was good on the set. It wasn't super expensive, so you got a nice little build and some carriages. That could have been Pirates of the Caribbean. It could have been something else, and I really love the King George's officers that came with it. And so for me, this is definitely an A tier set. Definitely above average. One of those that you're excited to get, you're excited to build versus just kind of getting to fill out the collection. All right, so next up we have Whitecap Bay. I think this is going to be kind of an immediate A tier. Honestly, I'm going to put this one above the London Escape. I do think that the London Escape is kind of this borderline A B tiered set, but for me, the Whitecap Bay is awesome. I believe this was the first time, or one of the first times, they came out with this mermaid mold. So if you wanted a mermaid for the longest time, I mean, this was the mermaid set. It had some black boats in it, which are quite rare. It captures the scene well. Too bad it's not a more iconic movie in the trilogy. If the movie was better, I think this one could have been so much better. But it kind of faults at its fault as being a part of the one of the worst movies in the series. But overall, I do think this is an A tiered set. You wanted it. You wanted those the mermaid minifigures. You had a couple of other unique minifigures in this set, and the ones that weren't were included in some rare sets. So just overall good selection, good pieces, and good everything on this set. All right, so we're at our next ship, and um, where's this one gonna go? It's an S, definitely. This is just an awesome ship. I'm a sucker for Lego ship builds. I think a lot of people are. They don't come out with them too often. This is one of the latest pirate ships we've gotten. That with the Black Pearl and a couple others, and just a great ship. Maybe a little bit of a controversial take here, but I actually liked the building experience for this ship more than the Black Pearl. Now, hold on. I love the Black Pearl more. It's definitely the iconic ship in the series, way more so than Queen Anne's Revenge. But from a pure Lego build only perspective, I actually enjoyed building Queen Anne's Revenge more. There was just more to the build itself, and the build itself was more epic than the Black Pearl. The Black Pearl had a great build. It just kind of felt like you were putting all the pieces on there and building the ship, but the Queen Anne's Revenge felt like you were building something. It was epic. It was a cool build. I still love the Black Pearl more, don't get me wrong, but from purely the building perspective, it was, I think, probably the best in the series, to be honest. The minifigures were pretty good too. It came with some unique minifigures. Came with a cool masthead, the Angelica figure. The figure itself is okay, but the hat is awesome. Very collectible, as well as the feather. If you don't know, the little tan plume piece that came in her hat is, you know, anywhere from $30 to $90 on Bricklink today. Just a really cool, unique piece, and a really cool and unique set as well. Next up on our set tier list here, we have the Silent Mary. It's not going to go S. It's a half of a ship. It kind of suffers from lacking in all the great things that these two previous ships had, which is being a full ship. It kind of looks awkward on display. Um, I said this about the Black Pearl and the Queen Anne is that if you liked ships, you got those sets. If you liked ships, you didn't really get this set. I mean, you might have because you wanted to complete the ship collection, but you weren't going out and happy about getting this set. It did have some really cool minifigures. I believe every single minifigure is unique to this set, which is cool. But you couldn't even make a custom ship, right? It didn't even come with a full set of sails. It came with these half broken down sails. It did come with two really good sharks. I want to give it an A, but at the same time, um, I don't think anybody was too crazy excited about this set, so I think I'm gonna have to give it a B overall. It just left a lot to be desired. It had some really good display angles, but then a couple were kind of awkward, and you could pull up the front, which was cool. But I think what really sealed the fate for this set is that the movie itself wasn't very good. And so if the movie wasn't very good, it kind of loses its iconic status. If the movie was amazing and this was an iconic ship and everybody knew about it, right, it'd be different. It would be the ship from Dead Man's Tells No Tales, right? But instead it's just kind of there. It's just kind of the ship from honestly the worst movie in the entire series. Last up, but certainly not least, we have the Pirates of the Caribbean Battle Pack. This came with 5 figures for $20. And to compare that to the Captain's Quarter, that came with 3 figures for $20. We got 2 more figures. One was one of those awesome King George's guards, and then another name character from the fifth movie. And this was okay. I liked the battle pack, right? It was cheap. It was, I believe, $15. I think I just said 20. It was $15, and you got 2 extra minifigures. Personally, I like this much better than the Captain's Quarter. I'm gonna have to give it a B, just because there was really no reason, unless you wanted more guards. There was no reason to buy multiples of this set. Um, And honestly, if you just wanted more guards, you could bricklink them or just buy the other set that came with them, because at that point you'd have to get two of these sets and you're almost to the same price as that one set, and the other set you get so much more for that. So it just depends on your purpose there. So there wasn't really that appeal of, oh, I got to mass this battle pack. It was just really a minifigure pack more so than a battle pack. There was nothing really to mass here, especially considering you got the zombie figures, and so many other sets. So many other sets came with those zombies, so you could mass a fair amount of zombies already. But that'll do it for us today. That is our tier list. If you liked the video, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. Comment with your favorite set of the series. Let me know what your tier list is. I made this on Tier Maker. You can go and you can do this on your own, and let's compare our tier list. This is my personal opinion. I'd love to hear about yours in the comment down below. And of course, subscribe to my channel, Plain Old Grinch, if you like this sort of content. And otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Thanks.